I just like don't know how to start. Hi fellow weirdlings, Chandler Baker here, and I have something special to share with you guys today. If you guys have been following some of my videos, you know that I used to be a ghostwriter. A ghostwriter is somebody that writes under the pseudonym of somebody else and is paid to sort of bring to life someone else's ideas. I got to write for existing series, and I wrote full books in longer series, books like Nancy Drew or The Hardy Boys, The Boxcar Children. These are books that have really long series, and so they stick an author name on it. Sometimes that was a real person at one point, or sometimes it was always just a made-up name, and they hire authors to write various installments of that series so that it can keep going on forever and ever and ever. It's true. A company in those situations comes up with a full synopsis, and I'm hired to just write all of it. And then sometimes it'll say inside the book, like, thanks to Chandler for writing the whole damn book. A couple years ago, I sold my first book. 8 to 10 years ago, I started kind of writing seriously. I wrote a book and signed with an awesome agent at Writer's House. That book went on submission to editors and it didn't sell. Sad day. Then I started ghostwriting during the interim, and finally I ended up writing something that was my own again once I had time. So Alive is going to be my first book. I have this. This is the first time I have seen my book in book form, so let's admire it. It's a young adult novel. It's sold to Disney, and it's coming out in June 2015. So this is the first time I've seen my name on a book, which was really thrilling. It's been 10 years in the making, pretty much. Awesome knowing that I wrote every single word in here. The real thing will be hardcover. Here it says it's an uncorrected advance copy, and that means that the book's not already out yet. This is a copy that is earlier than any of the real copies. The back is black, which I think is really cool. If you want to be in the know, these are called arcs or galleys, like a ship, right? Aren't there galleys and ships? 10 points to Gryffindor for whoever figures it out. Okay, so beyond me, one of the questions that I get asked most is, why does it take so long for a book to come out? If you're like me and there are books that you're really anticipating and you hear about them and you see them on Amazon and it says pre-order, but you're like, it doesn't come out for another year, it can just be excruciating. And trust me, it is even more excruciating for the author. There are good reasons why it takes so long, just ones that aren't very clear, I guess, to maybe the general public. Alive sold over 2 years ago, which is like forever. So kind of what happens in that span. So I sold on proposal. Most debut books sell on a full manuscript. So I was lucky enough to sell on about 180 pages. The book is now 360 pages. Once you finish the book, you turn it into your editor. A lot of people think your editor is just there to correct your grammar. My grammar clearly needs correcting in this book. I mean, it was alarming. But that's not what your actual editor is there for. Your editor starts by sending you an editorial letter, and that contains everything that's wrong with your book, which is all the things. I got an 8-page single-spaced letter from my editor that was like, your book is really awesome, but I mean, here are the things that are not awesome at all. You go through and you have to delete characters and delete full scenes, and I wrote the entire last third of my book again. Yeah, it was painful. You have some freedom to figure out how you want to fix the problems, but generally they need to be fixed. You have to clean out the arcs, and there are just so many different changes that before I went through this process, I didn't know went into it. So after that point, you turn in your manuscript again to your editor, and then you wait, and another edit letter arrives. So, you know, my second round, I got a small edit letter and an annotated manuscript, but within the annotated manuscript, there are different, you know, comments within that are actually very substantive and are not line edits, so to speak. So generally the edit letters kind of go from more macro ideas down to smaller and smaller as you progress through the process. That takes some time. I think I got about a month to turn around my second round of edits, and then went back to my editor after that round of notes. I was done, sort of. You get what's called an acceptance from your publisher. Then you go to copy edits, and copy edits are where someone that's not your editor, but someone who's an actual copy editor goes through your manuscript with a really fine-tooth comb. I mean, I apparently had no idea how to use a comma. I mean, it's scary. I don't punctuate right. I make up words that are just not words. That sounds nice as an adverb. I don't know how anyone let me write a book. They also check for things like consistency. This is something else I apparently thought needed absolutely no attention in my manuscript. I mean, someone could have like curly hair on one page and then they've got straight hair 10 pages later. They also check to make sure things are true. So my book takes place in Seattle, and I would just like pick street names. Like, here's a street name I like. And my copy editor would be like, that's not a street in Seattle. It doesn't exist. Then there's other little fact-based things. Like I said, music plays a role in Alive, and I have, a bunch of little tidbits about like what's on the back of certain Nirvana covers or Green River covers, and Wikipedia is not your friend, you guys. So you have to go through and fix all of that. You learn something every day. And then you get another round of copy edits. If you don't like some of the changes, you can write stat and it won't change. Then you get first pass pages. Everything looks like a book except for being an actual book. Then you read it again with your copy editor and your editor. And by this point, you want to actually murder your book. Like, I think I believe in book burnings. You usually get your first look at your cover. The cover has to go through a lot of people at your publisher. First, your editor works with the cover designer, and they come up with something, and it goes to you for consultation, and it goes through marketing and sales meetings, and this is not the cover you started with. So then you're at the point where you have an actual physical book in your hands, but your book still might not come out for another 8 months, like mine. Catalogs went out to bookstores like Barnes & Noble and the independent bookstores a long time ago. They need some lead time in order to stock them in the bookstores. Then it has to go to trade reviews, which is how schools and libraries help make their decisions. And you just need general buzz time. It takes a long time to make one of these things. It's surprising, I think. That's not insightful. Now you know why. The end. If you want to keep up to date with news about Alive or my books or, giveaways, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter. The link is below, right? There I have things that you can do to help, like talk to your bookstore or your library. People are actually starting to read it at this point. I am terribly embarrassed about that. Like, I don't know if that's a normal reaction, but I'm just, like, every time somebody was like, oh, I just finished it, I just want to crawl under my table. I don't know what table I would be crawling under. Hardcover, June 9th, 2015. You guys should all mark your calendars. We are planning a launch party in Austin. If you're in the Austin area or anywhere close, then you will be invited and it'll be fun. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. I would love to know in the comments what books you're most anticipating. If you guys have left me some scary book recommendations on my last video, I'm loving them and am excited to choose my viewer pick for the next month. Like, share, subscribe. So guys, that's it for me. Make sure that you guys have subscribed to the Weird Girls channel so that you can hear all of us talking about all things nerdy and geeky and weird throughout the week. We're always excited to hear from you, so make sure to tweet us at the Weird Girls handle down below and visit us at www.weird-girls.com. Bye. I don't know. Now what do I say? I don't know.